Hi everyone, today we're going to create this scene and we're going to focus on using custom materials within True Terrain. So let's start with creating a landscape. So I'm just using the standard terrain, decrease the height map and change the noise type a little bit from FBM to now. Let's see what we can do here. Quick disclaimer, I assume you know how to create materials and create material libraries because that's what we need. Personally, I use two tools. The first one is True Assets from the guys that brought you True Terrain, and the second one is Extreme Nexus PBR. And I'll show you how I use them in a second. So let's find a nice way for the perspective here. Something like that. Looks okay, and increase the vertices to 1000. If that slows down your PC, you can bring the viewpoint amount down, but it looks fine. And very importantly, let's find a nice light setup, because the best texture in the world doesn't matter if nobody can see it properly. Okay, so when you install True Terrain 5, it comes with two libraries, the shader and the objects. We will use that a little bit later. And the shader library is special because you can just drag and drop the materials in there onto your terrain. So let's pick this one, just drag and drop it in, and there you go. We head over to the shader tab, and I always like to bring down specular at 0 and then increase the scale of the terrain so it looks realistic. Bit of displacement, and that's it. That looks fine, but it's always good to have a scale reference. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to provide you with the link to that, is I found this great drone or mech on Sketchfab. Brilliant artist, please check him out. And we are going to take that in here, scale it up a little bit and position it at the foreground, like something like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Bring it up a tad, right. Rotate it. And that looks okay. So we have a better understanding of scaling. Now we know that we've got the mech in here. So let's play with the light if we find a better solution. But I think the one we had was good enough. So let's go with this. Okay, so I said True Terrain shaders, drag and drop. Now let's bring in another one. So from True Assets, let's do the Berg pack, and here with every other material there's this new button called Add as TT Layer, and you just choose the material you want, click Add as TT Layer, and there you go. So I've put this brick thingy on here, and now let's find a nice way to mix this. How about a path mask? This is great. You just paint a curve into your terrain and bingo, there it is. You can now scale this up and make the fall off a little bit more smooth, and you can actually add another curve. So like, because this looks like a path over there, let's paint that curve in. And the great, well, okay, doesn't matter at all. It's just for demonstration purposes. But the great thing is you can, go to edit mode. You can still edit the curve you've drawn, and then it would just kind of apply the texture to the path you have drawn. So we can work like this, but just wanted to show you that the path mask is really, really cool. So here's another thing. Let's make it a little bit more exciting, and I'm using something over here. And I'm a big fan of Dennis Bosk, whom I found on Station. And you really have to check this guy out. I mean, that's next level. And he's got a great store where I've bought all my brushes and biomag materials. And I've reached out to Dennis, and he was kind enough for this video, for my community, for you, to provide you with a free pack of 2 biomag materials, and that's what we're going to use. So let's start with, I say, with the blue one over here. Again, add a STT layer, same procedure, specular down, and now look what we can do. I mean, very cool, very alien-esque texture. Bring up the displacement so we get some more 3D in these veins into there. We can rotate the texture so we have it to a liking. And then what can we do here? Let's do a patch mask. Yep. So already the patches are made, but if you take a look through the viewport, you see that the patches are too small. So what I like to do is go with the amount of patches of 0.1 or 0.2 and then play around with the rotation and see how this fits overall. Yeah, we can play with that like so. And yeah, that actually looks quite nice. And last but not least, we're going to bring in the second material, which will give us another nice alien-esque vibe. So let's scale this up so we get to see those veins in the rock. And like so, maybe make this even bigger because I want the veins to be seen on the cliff rock on the background. So something like this. And here we're going to apply a classical slope mask. And I like to bring back the ground, so I'm inverting the mask and then slowly increase the slope factor until I have everything I want. I mean, it looks okay right now, but what's very important is you can do, even with your custom ones, you can use the filters built in. So for example, I like that to be a little bit more dark. That's too much. Play around with this, I think. Yeah, that looks okay. Maybe even one less, right? Play with the contrast. Yep, that looks about okay. Maybe do the same thing with the blue one. Okay, no, that's too much. So you probably know by now these are follow-along videos where you actually see me struggling and trying things out, and nothing you can or should follow directly, but you can see my workflow, my work process, my trials and error, and I think that is something all of you or some of you can relate to. So we can bring in some spots. There's color burn and color dodge. We can change that, of course, which is stupid, but I mean, there are so many possibilities for you to try out. It's just crazy. I'm just wanting to show you what's possible with texturing with True Terrain 5. So let's play with this a little bit, and like so. And let's take a look at the settings or the seed. I should probably lighten that right. So, and in the settings we've got the scale, details, things like that. Yeah, I'm probably getting a little bit lost in this. Sorry, but we're going to be ready in a second, and I don't want to cut this so you really see how I achieved the overall image I have shown you at the beginning. Okay, so now here's another great thing. If you click in the shader in here and click on this, True Terrain 5 actually copies every custom texture within this library. It's not an asset library in Blender, but you can choose whatever texture you have applied to it. So as you can see, yeah, well, I've already done quite a bit, and that's why it doesn't change the path masks or any mask. It doesn't change the scale or the displacement. It just switches out the texture, and you can get lost in there. It is brilliant. Now this is very important. In the material settings, we really make those details pop. And I always leave normal alone, because normals in Blender are still a little bit wonky and result in black spots we try to avoid, right? Okay, so we can play with this, so maybe we find another texture over here. Looks good, but not that brilliant. You can of course take stylized textures as well. Doesn't fit that well. Or we can take this one. Right, that looks quite interesting. Or we go for a classical sci-fi texture. Why not? I mean, who is to say what is possible on an alien world and what not? Something like this. Okay. And right, so we can play with this again. I like the blue. Maybe bring this back to its original form. Right. Play with the sun. Yeah, I don't know why I'm playing with the sun so much. I really want the details to pop out, but eventually I do come to more or less the same setting, and eventually I will use True Sky, which by the way is you can get with a discount right now, I think until tomorrow, Monday 20th of May. So if you don't have True Sky yet, definitely check it out. You will see what a difference it makes. And that is something I probably will have to edit and cut down. So what we're going to do is bring in some water. I assume that most of you have already bought True Terrain 4, and I'm using the Tropical Lagoons. I'm scaling, I like a straight horizon line, and bring this up slowly like so. And then we can play with, yeah, make this lagoon water, make this a little bit darker, not too much, something like that. And then we can play with the color of the water and make it alien-esque. So probably, yeah, like so. Increase the overall displacement so we get some ripples in there, and activate the foam. bring it in and click high calculation, make it a little bit more visible, and we've got our water. Right, and to make this more alien-like, you can also add 2 alien trees or rock formations, which I have created myself and which I am going to share with you. Link will be in the description. So let's bring that one in, scale it up, position it somewhere here. That looks okay. Make a copy of that and bring it to the foreground. Okay, that needed a second. It is pretty high density in vertex counts, but I'm sure you'll be able to use it. So something like that, bring it over here and rotate it so it actually makes sense and it doesn't look too replicated. This looks nice. Yep, I'm fine with that. Maybe that's good. And let's do the second one as well. More like a plant, this one. And let's put this like some sort of alien tree here, like so. Find a nice position and do a copy and bring it over there as well. So something like this, right? Bring it up, rotate it. Should be visible, and we're not going to take too much time to texture those. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop, because that's not a terrain, it's just an object. Drag and drop our new biomag materials over there. I think they already look pretty awesome, and I hope you have fun with that. And let's take the blue one for the tree. Right, something like this. Drag and drop, and we're kind of done. We can play with the textures, like, increasing subsurface, make it a little bit more interesting, but yeah, I think that's not that interesting or important, and it didn't work out the way I want, but just showing you me playing around with the textures. Okay, now let's bring something in the background and let's go over to our true library objects, and there is a couple of interesting stones. So this is split stone. Let's bring that in. It usually gets kind of hidden into another collection or object. You'll just find it there. It's pretty easy. So we're going to scale this up, rotate that, and make this our kind of mysterious background object. Just scale it up massively, like so, and rotate it. So maybe the other direction, like so. Yep. And from here you can't even tell if it's rock or if it's metal. So I think that fits the vibe. So that's kind of it. Last but not least, I'm going to do the whole true sky editing. So you're happy to stay and look what I've done here. But I think I will, cut this down, because if you're interested in me doing a follow along video on True Sky, I can definitely do that, but that's not why you came here. Again, thanks for watching. In the end, I'll just used one of the presets, played around with the two suns, added some clouds, and that's it. Did some slight processing with contrast and brightness, and that is the final result I'm going to show you here. Please check out Dennis Bosk's ArtStation account and use the free pack you can download there, and hope you found something of interest in here and unlock all the textures you have in creating brilliant, wonderful, weird and strange terrains. See you next time. Bye.